So the mass economy is responsible for the growing of GDP, but the niche economy is good for generation of income. So the first concept of creative economy was based in the arts, in the content industry, and in the creative services. But we found out that what we lack is the focus on the territory, in community life, because there is where we can find this cultural diversity. So we focus both in sectors and in the territory. I won't get into details because we don't have time enough, but this is an example of territorial development. The Ministry of Culture of Brazil has 5,000 municipalities. It's impossible to build cultural centers in all of them. So instead of doing this, what was done was recognizing, supporting, empowering, and connecting their local organizations that are already doing good work. So in our model, what we seek is to identify in each of the 4 dimensions what this best practice produces. So from the market point of view, from the social point of view, from the cultural point of view, and from the environment point of view. I'm jumping because I wanted to go to this, because I think this is the key, is that creative economy means a new economy. And new economy means, first of all, to rethink what is success, comfort, or growth. Because nothing in nature grows forever. After growing for a while, it comes the time of maturing. So probably we won't talk about growing anymore. We will talk about development, evolving, but not growing. And this new economy requires new ways of measuring the wealth of nations, for instance. Because GDP is a very, very silly way of measuring wealth. Because ecological disasters or wars are very good for GDP. So I think you are familiar with this experience from Bhutan. It is the gross national happiness. Canada and other countries are working also with this. The indicators of wealth encompasses things very much related to society. Brazil is very much concerned with how to measure intangible assets. We have a very big national bank, which is the Bank for Development, and they are one of the world leaders in the designing of this, because we still don't know how to measure and value these intangible assets. So they have these 4 kinds of capitals: intellectual, organizational, relationship, institutional. And this is also adopted by the organizations, because inside the enterprises, the organizations and the corporations, it's more and more clear that what values more is the intangible. So in 81, the intangible was 17% of the value of big companies, and in 98 it was 71%. In our work, what we have is this graphic. In this graphic we put the 4 dimensions. We have this graduation from 1 to 10, and we put lines. Each line is one asset in one given dimension. And so we can see if the process, the enterprise, or the community is balanced in its many assets: social, environmental, economical, and cultural. When there is balance, the form we have is more round. When it's unbalanced, it's like this. So what we are very much aware in dealing with creative economy is that we must change the economy so as to be able to fully evaluate it. Because, for instance, if we measure the sector of dance, it may be very tiny. We can see a few dancers, few choreographers, few teachers. So we have a very tiny economy. But if we are able to measure dancing as an activity, then we can see that it's huge. In my country, it's carnival, it's all the traditional festivities, it's all the night scene with the nightclubs, it's all fitness. So the dance economy is much bigger than we can measure. And also, we are still not, we don't still have ways of measuring the other dimensions, social, economical, etc. So what we are doing, we are trying to measure liters with a ruler, something that is multidimensional, with a unidimensional way of measuring it. And to give you an example, Hazel Henderson is a futurist and a new economist. She did for the UN research on love economy, the economy of solidarity. If I go to work and my neighbor takes care of my children, how much is this worth? And she came to the amount of $16 trillion per year. Last year, she just finished, it's still not released, a green economy report. If we could measure how much the earth gives us, how much does this mean? And she came to the number of $34 trillion per year. If we sum this, it's already bigger than global GDP. And this because we don't have ways of measuring the cultural. And what is very interesting is that those other dimensions, the social, environmental, and cultural, are very stable and very safe. And in these times, we cannot afford to put our money and all our efforts in things that can bubble up billions of dollars from one day to the other. So, if we are seeking stability and harmony, we need to invest in wealth in these other three dimensions. And it's interesting because we talk about capitals, human capital, social capital, environmental capital. If there is a capital, we need the currencies. And in dealing with local development, I found out that in nature we have cycles and things change state as water. If we would try to study water, study only the liquid, we couldn't understand what goes on. It seems like the water disappears. And probably the value, the same happens. So the value changes state. Sometimes we invest money, and in education we develop intellectual capital. This intellectual capital can turn into technological capital, then into natural capital, social capital, and so on. So probably there is a cycle similar to the cycle of water. And in the future, we will be able to measure and evaluate this change of state of the value we are investing. So it is to finish, it's very important that we always consider the two environments. That we don't only consider stuff, things, hardware, but we also consider people, the software. And to conclude, I think then in preparing its 12th year planning, China can not only change the nation, but can change the world. Because whatever you do better than any other nation. And if you, as you are very fast, I can see that now you are already considering the importance of creative economy and the importance of economic and of green economy. So, as this is the time for shifting from this model, that was the model of the 20th century, based in structural evolution and in economical growth, this was done. This was the 20th century. What is the 21st century about? The 21st century is about intangible assets and the fostering of a harmonious society. So, by designing a new model that crosses the creative economy and the green economy, China will certainly be in the vanguard and will have a safe, more stable and more strong society. And we will also push the world in a new direction, because we cannot predict the future, but we can create it through our choices. And when we dream, when we create things, those things that we dream become true. This is 20 images from the 20s and the 30s. We can see a laptop or a video conference. We dreamed of cars, we dreamed of big cities, now we have it. So, for the first time, we have people, we have knowledge, and we have resources to do whatever is possible to a better world. So, as it is possible, I hope we manage to make this shift. Thank you. Thank you.